celestial firmament. The sun, the driver of this whole system here. You created all these stars, sun and moon, and thank you for that, Father. Knowing these cycles is kind of their forte. You know, they, who's they? Everybody always asks who. Somebody asked yesterday, who's they? They are the evil that you created to do these things. And I thank you for giving me the eyes to see so I can recognize and have a seeing eye and an ear to hear. Not many will see what I'm saying, but that's all right. There's an elephant in the room. They don't talk about it. And we'll have that discussion today about preparedness. He told us to have our loins girded in his service. And that's believes an action word. So you can't believe a thought in your head, and it's not a thought. That's not what the word believe is. You can't believe in God, or that's not what that word, but people are very deceived. So thank you, Father, for the creator and being the writer of all things. So I know not by chance or will or luck that these things are happening, and they take advantage of that, the knowledge that they have, and hide it. And now it's not being hidden. It's should be obvious in plain sight. So their age of wonders, you know, I wonder why nobody talks about this weakening magnetosphere, where we've been having aurora, visual display of the sun crushing our magnetosphere with energy from the solar energy from the sun, ionized and deionized gas that penetrates through those particles, and we can see that auroral display. And only if we've ever had in a 12-year solar cycle a normal, what you would call average cycle that you learned in school, just basic high school or whatever, that the sun has many cycles, but the only one they probably taught you was the 12-year cycle, the solar minima and the solar maximum or minima. And very people are ill-versed in this particular line of study, and they don't know that this is an ongoing thing that has been happening, happened before in the 1800s, where it whacked our technology at the time was the telegraph. And you might want to look into what was called the Carrington event. It was a large, massive X. The sun will make an X when it shoots that plasma ionized and deionized gas. It's electric. The sun's not a ball of fire, and people they're not, again, versed in the sun. They tell you not to look at the sun. Isn't that what they say? So you can start a conversation with a box of crowns if you'd like, and ask somebody, what color would you draw the sun if they gave you a picture in school and it had that house and maybe the tree and the bird and the sun? What color, what box, you know, they gave you a box of crowns. What color would you draw the sun? So, you know, you can spark a conversation. It's electric, you know, and ionized and deionized gas plasma coming from the sun can penetrate the magnetospheres to protection. In a normal solar cycle, we've ever only had 2 low latitude auroral events, that, like in 1859, the Carrington event that crushed, again, whacked that X20, 30, can't remember the exact number, but it was a very large facing this rock. Now, maybe I use some words like Earth, but I don't know. You don't live on Earth. So if I start getting in that discussion, we'll have to go into a whole nother discussion. But you better understand that the sun can whack our magnetic protection, the polarity, you know, or poles. We're not having, we don't have poles. It's called polarity, magnetic polarity. You know, you got a right and a left brain, right? Notice that toilets spin one way in the northern hemisphere and the other. That's called polarity, magnetic. All right. So as the sun smashed this magnetic canopy, the protection, the armor was at a full strength at 100%. And it still caused at this point in time the migration of what you call the pole. It's not a pole, there are poles, it's polarity. So that has been happening since the 1800s. This is not a new event that started the migration in the opposite direction at the time in 1859 of what the compass points to the north, right? Because that's called polarity. Magnets is a neodymium magnet. You take a round magnet and you wrap it with copper and you spin it. What happens? You get a toroidal field. You get a large hadron collider is what you get. That's what those machines do. They affect the magnetosphere. So if you'll take a look at this event again back in the 1800s, it started the migration, the wandering of the magnetic polarity of the poles. It took out all the technology at the time. And I need a medikit. That's it. Cool. Lion, have you looked at Canadian Prepper, obviously, with his kits, with the how many kits that, come on, JC Medical offers? And I'm not, again, you don't have to plug his, he only carries the best, and you can try to make yours. I don't know, the cost is obviously always such an issue for you guys up there to the north, my Canadian brothers that have to pay $4,000 some dollars something for an ounce of gold, or when here in the, well, it's the same thing. America is Canada, and you might as well include Mexico because we're going to get that silver, baby. Save silver and some save lives. How about that? Where did my silver go? We'll definitely have to have a conversation about silver as well, but you have to have some rice and beans, I hope, and some stores put up. So just call it your go bag. There's a little better word for it, okay, Lion? Through a lot of years of preparedness, call it your go bag. Don't call it a bug out. It's so kind of gives you the end of the world. The world's already ended, remember, as we know it. And so we're just, I figured, like I said, it's something that I'd already, just these little keywords will help, like say, hey, it's got my go bag. A little easier to have conversation with people if you're trying to get them to get a go bag. You don't want to say bug out. Oh, you know what I mean? So conversations say dialect is tongues, glossophora, remember alien. They just freak out. Space Wars. That's right. Hallelujah. It's having the extra oil. So if you want to help people with preparedness, because Father, you remember Noah prepared for 126 years. And if I'm not mistaken, the 2,600 plus preparedness years that Christ is still preparing that house. He said, come back and redeem his bride. He ain't done yet. So the biggest prepper on this rock to ever walk this rock was my love Shiloh. Remember, that's redemption. He'll come back. That's when the preparedness pays off, baby. Woo! The wedding feast of the lambs, baby. Will you hear that, Harbor's Heart? That's what it's all about. He's my prize. He's what I'm running towards. That's why I put my treasure. But you got to be prepared on this rock. So go, baby. Good stuff, Lion. Good to hear it, man. Extra oil. So when you have, for dialect, this conversation's sake, hey, he's still preparing. This day ain't done yet. So Noah, hey, I prepared love. This Noah stayed focused. He didn't listen to the world. The world scoffed that old man, had eaten rain decades. But we are, are you the ark? Are you the commander or the ship? I'm the ark. I'm the vessel. Baptize that. Inside and out, brothers, sisters, parallel. What I'm telling you, what Noah was told to baptize that ark of yours inside and out. You better, it's a spiritual baptism. It's a spiritual blood. You better be doing the same thing. He said, follow after me. Noah was told to baptize the ark with a red pitch, baptizo, a stain or blood or dye, but it's spiritual blood under this covenant. So I hope you understand what's happening here. He's still not done. So get the go bag. Good stuff, Lion. And when you have that conversation with people, definitely bring them up to that JC Medical too, because I think that's going to be one of the largest things that needs to be talked about is people who are lacking their medicine are not going to defend very well when the grid goes down. So good for you. Go is a better term dialectus. You can say, hey, this administration, that way you can play a Democrat or Republican with them and they won't get so offended. Oh, Biden, oh, Trump. They freak out. These people are lost. Don't stay. That's what I'm concerned about, these people. Well, they don't have a water filter. Some are just lost in too much poly, meaning many, and tick or is a bloodsucker. Polyticks, just many bloodsuckers. But there's an elephant in the room, like I'm saying. And that's the fact that most people are ill prepared, as I said, and that's what you're going to need to be ready for more than anything. And we're supposed to be providing people without, so you need to be ready for that day. And they're ready. They know what they're doing here. Like I said, this week in Magnetosphere is this conversation that you understand. They're just waiting for the sun to do its cycle. Their super cycle in the age of wonders. When the lights go out, they get to take over the skies and tell lies to your eyes in the skies and play their visual voodoo with you. And they're going to play their little silly reindeer games with their Sex Pistol Cracker Jesus, their sun god in the sky. I know, see already what they're doing. It's not hard to see. Seven given, or the word apocalypse means to lift the scales or to remove the veil from the cover off of the eye, or aletheia with the lies that have been hiding for deception for over 26 years, 2,600. I said he's been preparing, but he's pulled that veil off. That is the pit opening of that is Aquarius, age of air, lifting of the veil. That's we're here. Welcome to Revelation. Welcome to this last book that it spoke of, that John, remember, he was visited the island of Patmos, Christ as a messenger, wings, angelos, right? Visited John, not the Baptist, but gave him that revelation. Today we've been a witness. 12, 13, all these celestial firmament markers have been left. Bethlehem, that had happened back in 15. You have any idea what I'm talking about? That celestial conjunction, like a marriage, like he said in Deuteronomy 2, 3, actually, right? In this case, because he's the tie that binds two bodies together, like the union, the one whole, creating one. That's why they love their birth. As is above, so is below. Under armor. It's an eclipse. It's a passing of an age, from one age, from fire to water. But you don't understand what they do, because you think the heavens are above your head. The heavens are not above your head. You're an idiot. Stop speaking of that space farce nonsense. Go out to outer space. Why don't you start hashtag ice wall, and you might figure that out. Maybe you can be a little more advanced and you can hashtag beyond the ice wall. Welcome to outer space. Anyways, moving on. He said he's the Rizzo. Thank you, Father, for that. You need to pay attention to this sunny created cycles, these weather patterns above your head. This hydrological cycle comes from what's up there? Oh, we've got clouds. Oh, that would be anyone would like to remember? Remember, these are basic things you learned in school. What's up over there? You have your jet streams. You don't think like poop, it runs downhill. That's what happens. The trickle effect, not like Reaganomics. That didn't work out very well for you, did it? There, Reaganomics. Who's old enough to remember that? All right, hashtag. No, dogs don't go to heaven because dogs don't have souls. So that's a stupid Disney. They like to mock Christ, the king, call him lion. He's Leo in the celestial firmament, is a magi. Remember this marriage, union, birth, one, age, water, where age is over deception. Welcome to the apocalypse. Air. The veil has been lifted. That is the word. The lifting, the pit ritual. They're doing it over 9/11 again and again and again. They'll keep doing it, but you don't know what 9/11 is. You think it's dropping 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes. That doesn't add up. You're not going to get me on this 2 + 2 = 5 common core crap. I don't want to hear that. Building 7 was CIA headquarters. Remember, it was in the news. Even before it fell, they said it dropped. There was a backbone in those buildings. You know nothing about those buildings. Please do not talk about President. 4 + 5 is 9. Skip Joe. 4 + 7 is 11. President 9/11. Don't talk about the elephant in the room. The mass murder in chief. Remember? The elephant. The Republican. There's an elephant in the room, but you don't see it. It's quite obvious. They know what they're doing. I remember my dad said, you're not going to like you're not going to like this government. They know what they're doing. You see the wealth gap just grow and grow and grow. And he died back in the 80s. And, you know, I've lived more years. My dad was probably alive here soon or close, right around that time. Interesting. By the number, it's really strange how Father does all these things exactly. No such thing as free will or no such thing as luck or chance. By his script, he wrote all these, the creator and the writer of, he said that I created everything that ever was, everything ever written, everything that ever will be, everything not written. I, God, create good. I am the Aleph, or the Alpha, the beginning. I am the Omega, the end. I do all these things after my own counsel. I, God, do these things after my own pleasure, and I create evil. So that's what really upsets most people, is they think that evil creates evil, but Father creates all things. So there's no such thing as man-made, no such thing as free will, and no such thing as luck, no such thing as a planet. These people think they're on a block. I'm in the third third dimension on a rock or a ball spinning, and the Hebrew word is forward. That's to twist, change, warp, like warp speed or God speed. I mean, pervert. They pervert this times table, this clock, this calendar worship. This is all vain. It's all blotted out. We're not supposed to do any of these things. Father made this flesh covenant with his bride, and they don't celebrate. They don't do those. They actually stand against and speak up about. They have to. That's part of the light. They have to share it, not hide it in a basket. It's part of being a disciple. It's part of carrying what is called a cross. But a cross, he wasn't hung on a cross. He didn't carry a cross. And that's the problem with these religious, all of them, they're vain. And unless you study cultures, customs, maps, these things are not even relevant. You believe, fell for the delusion of the falling of the way from the agape of this covenant, that we're not under flesh, that was blotted out, and ordinances, handwriting and blood that was paid, and now it's on our heart. It's not by oh, there we go, inner space. There's inside you, Christ in you. That's where the Father's at. That's where he said Shiloh to remember, I'm going to go to where my Father's house is at. And he destroyed the physical temple through the prophecies, fulfilled all prophecies. There's no prophets. There's not one prophet to walk this rock. That's blasphemy. Anybody tells you you can be saved, or they're a prophet, or they can tell futures or times tables, or they're perverted. Celestially, they're probably an idiot. They think space is above their head and heaven's above their head, and dead people go to the sky. There's a whole class of probably 85, 95, well, probably 95, not 85% of society. They think God's in the sky, and that's why he divorced his bride Israel. Remember, they thought the sun was dying. Kronos was Saturn, and gods and these gods in the sky, and they're doing the same thing today. The synagogues of Satan, it's the same thing. He doesn't dwell in temples made by hands. He made that very clear twice. He always said he would send 2 witnesses. That one will take your crown. Revelation 3:11, I come quickly. Let no one take your crown. So 2 kings, 2 crowns. Which king are you going after? There's one that is the key to no knowledge. That's the place called abyss. Abyss. My people shall perish for lack of abyss. I'll throw them in the abyss. That's the word hell. There's no such thing as hell. Hell's not a place. Hell is abyss, knowledge. Hell is no knowledge is what hell is. It's not a place. Alien is not a entity, being that or anything out of the sky. That means foreign, or a foreign dialect, or dialectist, gloss of tongue. Oh, I got somebody coming. Oh, we're going the other way. Got somebody to buy a propane tank out here, so if I have to might interrupt here for a minute, just because I'm trying to get some stuff done out here at the ministry. So, but I thought I'd come in and talk about this elephant in the room. Nobody's talking about this weakened magnetosphere. This good boy, Tago. Good boy. He's doing his job. But they know if you go to the U.S. debt clock, you got to follow the money, this golden age of wonders. We're not in a golden age. That's Antichrist. I wonder why people fall for this peace, because they don't read the book. He said, I do not think I came to bring peace. And so that is the word shalom. And we're not to, this is not a peace testament or a peace covenant. That time is of anti-Christ. It's here, but we're not under that. We're under thalipsis. We're under theolobo and theolobos and long suffering and clay to be pushed. And the iron, he said, will not cleave with the watery clay. So the elect will not be fooled. I know, because I can see their wonders, their ages, and their cycles that they ride. Again, as I told you, these are celestial cycles. Many of them are slices of time. There's no such thing as 1,000. These are thousands. There's no zero. It was 1 through 9. You've pervert. Go see Brother Jim. He'll help you at Grace and Truth Ministries. He's not as well versed in the celestial, but does 100% hover over the gospel like no other man on this rock. So you need to, and does understand some of this, but not his studies are 100% gospel based, and I base all this ministry off that. Other of these things is only adding, as I tell you, these celestial, be not dismayed, as it says in Jeremiah, no, be not a heathen, okay? Learn not their ways, and be not dismayed of the signs in the firmament over your head. I'm not trying to cause you to be in alarm over, something that you're not going to probably even understand if you don't understand the Kali Yuga cycles and all these celestial wheel, how this works. You're going to probably fall for gods in the sky and balls in the sky. And we don't talk about shapes and balls because people are, they just go all Sesame Street. They want to get all Fraggle Rock, or they just get all Fraggle. They get talking. They can't even talk about the models. Like they've got this camp of people who are going like they're like Peter Pan gods. I don't know what they're Pan gods, and they have to stick their flute in the pie and with their Americans. I don't know. Anyways, band camp, ball camp, round camp, flag. I don't do shapes in here, and that distracts the whole conversation with people because they're like left brain or right brain. Oh, I'm a Democrat. No, he's a blood book, they don't focus on there's an elephant in the room here, and it's obviously this man is controlling the tech and knows exactly what he's doing. They're doing their pit ritual over and over again. I call this is an Aquarius. We're in the age where the veil has already been lifted. They veiled Christ. Whether you understand, he left that neatly folded mask of a resurrection, a return. That's what it means. That is Shiloh. That's why it means so much to me to cover this particular subject about President Blind 11 that you guys all so much seem to love. World, not the followers on this. And again, not Brother Jim Brown, he don't do politics. Paulie meaning many and tick meaning bloodsucker. You don't sit there and care about none of these people. I told you got a whole different field of study. It's called the gospel. But we're supposed to not partake in the halakha and agata, as I spoke of and did a live on yesterday, that this halakha and agata is a perversion of the law. And we're not under the law, but under this former constitutional republic, now corporation. If you're not standing against this and feeding this taxation system, or at least making it known, not sharing the light as I share it with you, okay, then you're not a disciple because you're not standing. He hung from a tree and they threw him in a jail cell. Obviously did not like him. He was not loved by this world. He ate wheat on the Sabbath. He didn't go by their perverted. Remember in Deuteronomy, he was, telling these Pharisees that these women were literally whoring themselves, selling their bodies. And under that old, remember, Deuteronomy Testament, that covenant he makes, that tie, as I was telling you, were to become one. You had to go to a public place and nail that bill of marriage to a stake or tree. And they had not done these things. There was no physical act of adultery, the physical law, and he fulfilled. What a beautiful thing. I don't see any pastors or teachers or even people who understand this or read sharing this, that he made a covenant with his bride. At that, he says, if you covet another man's wife, they had not committed the physical act. He made that spiritual right there. I mean, covetousness is to go and use your, and think about it. It's in your, it's not, that's like, you know, remember, believe is not it's not a verb. Oh, it's not a noun. It's a verb. So when he made that statement right there, I just pause, knowing that he blotted out the handwriting of ordinances in the book of Colossians 2:14. Those laws of physical were made. That is the fulfillment right there. Christ in Deuteronomy, he's telling these Pharisees that, you know, and how is this these people, these Pharisees couldn't even understand and didn't understand who he was. These are just creators that Father created to even, you know, test the Hamashiach, our own love, our own Shiloh, when he was here, like he said, you know, for 40 days to tempt. This is part of our test, that we're supposed to mirror him and put ourselves through these same fiery trials. That's what I love about Jim Brown, brothers and sisters. He really hits this home like no other man, and give you such the historical teaching behind all these things, biblical and scriptural. Okay, I don't like the word history. I don't like the word biblical. Scriptural. The man is studied more than any other man. And when you look at something like this, you know, in Deuteronomy, this was the law. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy was the Torah. And that's what Christ was here, is he had made a fulfillment right there of that old bride contract of the you know, that bill of marriage, and said, hey, you've not released them. You've not gone back to that public place, nailed them, not them, that two witnesses, and nailed that contract to release her. She can't even be legally remarried. And this is all about us and a wedding. And he divorced his bride that day as he hung on that tree. Remember, that mask that they found was neatly folded, because that's a resurrection, when Mary declared that he had, right? The rolling back that gave women a voice. That's the equal that we are under this covenant. Is he had a household father, he severed the head of father under this covenant and will stand before the Father. And if you don't have that, then you're going to rip him down. You're going to stand right back under the laws of flesh, where the wages of sin is death. And I don't want to see that happen to any of my brothers and sisters. We'll do it by self, but what a beautiful thing to make all this spiritual. You know, if you covet another man's wife, that's adultery. And so he made it very clear at that point that this is not a physical law by the fulfillment of the prophecies of no stone to be left upon another, and destruction of the physical temple, because they weren't gods in the sky worshiping these Baal gods, and Jezebel is the Jezebel spirit. It's that spirit in us of mammon flesh. It's the traditions of men. They didn't come into, I don't know why this doesn't call out to people's hearts. When Ahab married Jezebel, that she went after these Baphomet god that Trump has his house decorated. I don't do politics. This is the fact, Jack. This 9/11 god of the sun and the moon that had a wife that when he died, his wife had sex, you know, with their child. This is disgusting. He loved rabbits. This is your Ishtar, or your lunar worship of this wheel goddess of heaven spinning the big dip. They had this all wrong, brothers and sisters. They didn't understand the celestial firmament above their head. People are no different today. And that's why I bring attention to this event that will eventually happen from the sun. And they know this. And that's, you know, I've been blessed as a magi to understand the gospel in the firmament, to be a witness to things he spoke of and told John. I know we are in that book of Revelation because he gave witness twice to the sign of the stars, and then the Revelation 12 celestial firmament marker that marked the virgin, the birth of in the celestial firmament. How could the whole world miss that? It's okay. You missed the whole burning off of an age into, right? Fire to water with deception, and that's over now. The veil is lifted. You can't come take it back and go back in time. This ain't Back to the Future, but this movie, that was all about Mr. 9/11. They do this all by the number. They do everything here by the number, by these scripture, brothers and sisters. They are not playing with you. This is place here is given unto the adversary in their golden age of wonders. So this is the Revelation 12 sign that he spoke of, which took, declaring him the high priest of the church last time, is the pause, is the second sign, is the magi. There were many, not 3 wise men. There were many wise men. Daniel was a magi. Remember, who deciphered the dream of the ages, the age of clay at the end of the age in Revelation. And they're telling you this is the golden age of wonders, because they're, again, knowing of this degradation of this magnetosphere that's been cut off and doesn't complete because it's weakened by 40%. They're not playing, man, and neither am I. And we'll keep putting this out over and over again until the people who have the eyes to see won't go get in there, follow the yellow brick road. And it's not for me to determine, and go get in their megadomes and their work camps and their Executive Order 11004 allows the emergency feral agency management, where alphabet souping that thing up, to get in your Walmart. This is Walmart. They did this already. Internment, focus, concentrate, like orange juice, or like an encampment of the saints in slaving you in a Walmart Ethernet. This is all being done right in front of your face, and you just don't see it. They're laying all of this on the grid, the ley lines. These are all done as is above, so below. They're not playing. This Revelation 12 sign, brothers and sisters, was the most powerful sign I've ever been a witness to. Remember, it was when Jupiter paused after the birth of Jupiter and the morning star. Not Venus is the morning star. When these two conjunction, this passed for an age. This is Melchizedek in Scripture. This is Jupiter. This is this star right here. Jupiter. The king star. It gets its name, the king. Not this king, because there's 2 kings. There's 2 crowns. Okay? You see what I'm saying? But in this star, he said there'd be signs in the stars and in the sun and in the moon. Remember, they thought the sun was dying, so they prayed to Saturn. They had it all incorrect, remember? This isn't rocket science. Space bars. Anyway, so Jupiter, remember there were magi. Remember the magi? They were looking at the celestial marker. They were pointing to, they knew to watch the king star. It gets its name, the king, because it's out the longest in the night sky. It is the first of the Jovian gas giants, and it is the brightest, and it doesn't have that name for no reason. Okay, they even the Mayans called this Nibiru, or what these idiots call Planet X, but they're idiots. The Mayans knew the Yuga cycles, and anyways, so how did he know? Anyways, these magi, there were many magi. Remember, they talk about 3 wise men. There were called magi, and they knew how to decipher the celestial markers. And remember, when those 2 conjuncted, it created what was known as the Star of David, a star upon a star. This is what they were looking up at, this celestial conjunction, because it left an age of fire. The Aries, David declared him the Lamb of God. This is the wedding feast of the Lambs, this wedding that we're looking at now. If he was wedding feast of the Lambs, David declared that would make Father the Ram. Remember, they would blow the ram's horn. So I'm not sure if you understand the trumpet, if you will, the final trump. They're doing this over and over again. This star marker, brothers and sisters, there were many wise magi who could celestially decipher the marker. And when that Jupiter, after conjuncting with the morning star, we left an age of fire, war, sacrifice, aleth, blood, ritual. Remember, blood on your post, your doorway, the Passover, not Easter. These were days, set apart days, things we were to end gatherings, the Feast of End Gatherings, the Feast of Unleavened Breads, the Feast of Tabernacles. Do you remember anything about these? You had to come back to Israel 3 times a year, but sisters, people don't have any idea what this book is about. They've been lost in outer space with their pole god. In December 25th, Cracker Jesus, this image of some Pope's gay homosexual lover, Orgy Jesus, that one, the one they had marinated in a peasant, the king. Remember the king of the festival of the Yule wheel? Remember there were days and set apart. These aren't in scripture. These aren't even historically biblical. They made up their own celebration of these pagan Samhain and All Hallows Eve added by Catholicism, a dual pagan holiday. The 17th, the 24th, where they have their marinated orgy Jesus ritual. Cracker Jesus, they're the one Trump has his house decorated with, Apollyon. They birth in the middle of the winter and they bang, bang. They give him an orgy. See the barnyard Jesus, that one, the guy who's birth. We don't celebrate anything, let alone birth is the most vain thing you do is celebrate yourself. That's called self. The birth of your one self, that's vain. That's there's only 2 birth dates in all the scripture. One Satan, Apollyon, the one Trump has his house decorated with, the transgender God, transgender Jesus, the one with brass, father in that brass, father in that flesh, father is light. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, who do you go after? Who do you love? There's more than one Jesus. What's wrong with people? It's not my fault. Can't turn a goat into a sheep. In the middle of the winter, they birthed this cracker Jesus, this bestiality marination of a ritual for a whole week. They marinate a peasant, call him the king of the wheel, Yule. They thought there was a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper around the North Star. They were idiots. I told you. Remember? Be not a heathen. Be not dismayed at the ways of the signs of the firmament. This is in Jeremiah. You might hear what the Lord say to the churches in Revelation, but Israel in Jeremiah. So he's speaking to his bride, by the way. That's not some place in the rock over there in the middle of the desert. I rebuke that nation. There's no such thing as physical Jews. It's spiritual. 2,600 years ago, that make 1945, not that long ago, they wouldn't make them physical Jews over there. Wouldn't know. In 1948, they created a nation off a triple conjunction. And Aries, remember? Bam. Fire of these 2 celestial markers that brought us into the new age. You probably are told, do not know anything celestially, and you're going to fall for this age of celestial wonders when they turn out the lights on this place, this rock, and they change this negation of this corporation into this new megadome and megalithic structures where I understand what they're trying to do. This pit rituals, this bubble that they make with these hadron colliders of the protection from the sun, from the magnetosphere. What do you think this whole image of this? Started wondering too about this image that I'd never seen before. I actually have a tattoo of this same, which is called a sun dog. Oh, well, there's part of it that you don't need to even see the whole thing. See that right there? These freaking people are ornery, man. This is what I have. You're not. This is, brothers, I didn't ask for this. I am so ready to retire, just grow food, be left alone, but I can't. I've got to keep doing the work Father has me to do. So, anyways, he said, do not think I came to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. Matthew 10. Keep this in mind, brothers and sisters. That's what I tell you to every day until you can, I came to bring a sword of division that would divide. A man's enemies would be the one of his own household. Okay, that's what he's talking about more. It does talk about a separation from the father and the son and the daughter and the mother and the father. But listen, this is the divide, brothers and sisters. This is the yellow brick road. There's where they're taking this country, whether people understand what they're going to do here or not. I don't. Father will give me the protection. He'll give me the wings of an angel. Oh, where are you at? Oh, this is all the cracker. Watch fire from the sky, baby. It's electric. Oh, after the electric vent, they'll go into the domes. Or if you set yourself apart and you're not if you're American, see, I'm not American. I'm over here. Well, what do you know over here? We have nice, clear blue skies. That's not electric, is it? Oh, that's clouds. And where'd the domes go? Right. It's actually, this is a reverse image. Go look at the deck calculator. It's still on there. Gee, I wonder why. Because this hasn't happened yet, brothers, sisters. When these lights go out from this sun, which is going to do this. I think they're going to somehow try to get this event, hijack this event of the sun. Now, remember, I brought you to this weekend of this magnetosphere, which causes these aurora events. I started this lights out. See this aurora here? This is created by the sun's penetration of protons, ions, gases that are making this beautiful to look at, but this is a bad, bad thing for us to be able to see. It happens at the north and south polarity. We won't do shapes of our rock. And that's a normal thing. It's not supposed to be getting equatorial, brothers and sisters. Equatorial. That means it's penetrating that. See, it's normal to have these events, auroral events at the north and south because of the polarity. But because we've been having them, like I said, the X flare in the Carrington event in 1859 started the migration in the opposite of the direction of the pole it's going now. The field strength was 100%. It did create auroras at equal or low latitude, not at the tops of the polarity. If you want to do a ball, we'll do that for conversation's sake, just to do visuals. That's why you got to be able to speak the models. This started the migration in the opposite. It went to the west. In 1900, at 100% turned back around and went, which the direction it's going now, and that started the degradation of the magnetosphere, of the field strength. When it hit in 1859, the field strength of this rock magnetosphere was at full strength, like a ship. Put on the armor of God in Ephesians 6:11, right? A ship. Field strength, like a spaceship or farce. Never mind. Why do they fly space boats? What's up with that? All these space boats up there. Did you guys see that Dragon lander? That was pretty silly, huh? We had to take a pause for the cause here, too, because some of this stuff has just gotten out of control. Did anybody watch this Dragon link to whatever that nonsense? And then this, whatever this, here's pretty nice waves. This whole stuck in space farce or whatever they had going there with these people that were doing Christmas up there and all their silly will. Yeah. Those are some pretty nice waves, right? Would you like to explain the occurrence of air bubbles in the lunar waves there, NASA? So, anyways, what's going on here? What was up with these visuals? They get rid of this splashdown lander, these ladies who got out of this ring around the rosy with just the tip. Rocket. Remember, it made a ring around the. What about hit the water? It's a ritual, it's a cult. But anybody fall for that? Anybody want to talk about that for just a second on these visuals? I mean, I don't think the AI, which is not alive, even believe what it was making. I mean, that's disgusting. How do they say that that's even? And people are just going to go along with it, with space farce, and you'll just get more money to create more space balls. I mean, more farce, and Mr. Stinky Muskrat will do more. It was blow up. I'm just saying, let's just for a minute. I don't mean to. This is really serious. What's going on here? What I'm telling you about this magnetosphere. But what is this? Okay, why is everybody just accepting this Mr. Cock Rocket with his landers and going reverse and backwards? You notice they always curve. They must have been going around corners. They get the curve or something. I don't know what the hell. It's going too hard to the right or left or something. Pulling their chain. I don't know what makes them curve. What about this whole splashing this thing right off the top of the firmament, right? They keep doing these visuals. The girls in space, thank you. That was so, I mean, this is like, wasn't that on a Scooby-Doo or something like that? Didn't they always put this stuff out? Guys, The Simpsons, okay? I'm not doing that. Let's have a little discussion about this great study tool. I don't watch any of that. It's Springfield, Oregon. Hey, the oldest place on this rock hemisphere in the northern, where the oldest clothing was found in Oregon. So maybe not, it wasn't found in Springfield, it was found in Fort Rock. But anyways, yeah, see, straight up Baphomet. Thank you, Lion. Reverse Baphomet. Straight up Baphomet. There's a lot of that, Ross, too, that I'm really starting to because I do a lot of things. I want to bring something into we'll just conversation theory here a little bit. Just theorize for me with a little bit, okay? I don't like to get off into this subject too much because I really like to keep this channel gospel based. But since we're theorizing a what if scenario if the grid went down, guys, this tech, what they call ite, think about a meteorite, tektites. If you start understanding there is a firmament above you, waters, we're not going anywhere. For conversation's sake, if you think you can get out of here, don't hang out here anymore. I don't want you here. You're not getting out of here. You sound like some Babylonian trying to get to the sky. And when they have these compression events, this earth will push up this inner liquidation faction. This will form off the stratosphere. I've already seen it. It's been here before. This was taken down. This lid will be lifted again. It talks about it in the scripture, this particular event where they're going to have, and we'll call it, this talks about when the skies roll back like a scroll. Meet him in the sky. Air, Aquarius, the skies, the pit ritual. They call it a shocker. Please be careful with using these nonsensical words, these 7 things that we are supposed to be doing. Putting him in the light of the high priest. It's already happened. The age of error, it's over. We're already here. They're just doing this over and over again until this celestial event with this cycle, the super cycle. They know that the sun will eventually take out the light, sisters. They've been planning for this event for a long time. Why do you think they've been spending all their ites up there, satellites with Mr. Stinky Muskrat? They've been doing that since Mr. Star Wars with Mr. Reagan. Remember? Let's take a look at Nancy. Ooh, this is going to get scary. Oh, Nancy. Oh. Remember in the back of the car? Didn't she get a boob job? He or she or what? What is this, too? Let's just take a pause here for the cause. Just got to do it because these first ladies are, oh, man. Remember, we've got all these first, whoa, what happened there? I just lost my whole picture. There we go. All right, my bad. You got your first lady now. You better, because it's relevant, because this logo is why I'm bringing it up. Why they do this with these Adam's apples. Why is this done? Well, no, God is transgender. Beast, man, and woman. This isn't just Reggie or Michael. This has been a thing that has been a thing for quite some time. You just didn't have eyes to see. I can't believe it passed through my eyes for many years. What do you see? You tell me. Why? Here it is, right? Could that be any more in your face? Well, I told you how to portion a man and a woman. We are portioned completely different. I don't care if you got giantism or dwarfism. Father portioned us different. We have different military standards in the military. Men do this many push-ups. Ladies? First ladies, huh? I encourage you to go back and look at all of them. Careful what your eyes see. But see, you know, it's not a new thing here because of this same, well, that's scary. But either way, I want to bring to your understanding, thank you for bringing that up, about this upside down logo. And this is why this is performed under this 3-in-1 God. This is what they're doing. Remember, this is Jesus birthed in the middle of the winter, baby manger, Baphomet Jesus. Turn their works upside down. Good job. You must be as esteemed as the potter's clay. Not golden age, brothers and sisters. We're in the age of clay. Welcome to Revelation. Do not fall for this golden age of wonders. They're going to encamp you and put you in these camps. And you're going to follow the yellow brick road because you're a straw man under this corporation. You're a straw man. See these straw? if you follow Yellow Brick Road, you can go to your new house over here in the Age of Wonders, where you'll go to your bubble camp. You'll be in bubble trouble. It'll be electric, baby, from the sun. So they're not playing with this imagery, brothers and sisters, and neither am I, huh? This sign right here, again, as I tell you, where I don't care what happens to me in this life, this rock, this walk of this flesh, I have been a witness to this star, as was I obviously have witness of understanding a Magi celestial of the priors to tell you a fire age to water, and how this birthed the king, not this king, the one that's locked up in the pit, that I'm trying to get you an eye to see what's going on here, Dollar General. Okay, so thank you. We'll add that to the Dollar China, is what I call them. I call her Dollar China. Which is a subsidized corporation in cooperation with Department of Homeland Security. Remember Janet Napolitano, see something, say something? What do you think out there, those cameras? They can survey every Walmart, every aisle. They can find Osama in a cave. They can find a missing child. Thank you, Bob, for the lyrics on that one, right? Got you recorded from the minute you walk in. They're going to check your receipt at the door. That's a violation of your rights, man. No, thank you. Carry on. It's to stop you, to get you eye scanned at that Bosch eye scan camera when you walk in the door. Expose that. They don't like me. Walmart hates me. Good. Pan camp, boys. Stick your Peter Pan over that pie. Go in your round camp, your ball camp, your millimeter wave, like Tesla. John. Remember Donald John? No, John Trump. His uncle's got all that Tesla technology. There we go. Water deception age is over. Welcome to Revelation, brothers and sisters. $5 general. That's good. Inflation, baby. Say it here now. Say it again. $5 general. Good stuff, Ross. I like that's good stuff. They ain't playing though, brothers and sisters. Anybody remember this? Them taking and going and doing those 8 Walmarts where they just say, get the guy we're doing the plumbing. We're going in underneath, and they never did. They shut the whole things down. They goes be like 2 people to get 2 weeks or something. I don't remember how many they gave them, nothing. And they never did pull any permits to do Dollar Generals in every little town in the middle of nowhere. Jeff, they put one out here, the largest. Listen, you can't call it Dollar General. Ross has made a new thing. You have to call it $5 General. There we go. Deception's over. Water, no more. Do that. Learn to just do water deception. Water deception. For 2,600 years, you were living in an age of what is known as deception. And when I say it's over and we're the age of error, just like the triple conjunction, man, they hate me so much. It's this fake conjunction. Well, this happened right here. This isn't fake. No, this fake nation in 1948 was false because they formed this nation of Israel, Aries, in this celestial tabernacle. Shh, they hate me. Not beloved by the world, the sign that they were looking for, just as this was a sign, brothers and sisters, very important. When Jupiter conjuncted the morning star Venus, it created an age from fire, right? Aries, fire. This is the age of Aries, the ram, to water. Pisces, Christ, the fish, the age of meek, deception. Oh, it's on my thing. Put you down. So, whether you understand what happened at this time, this triple conjunction with, which is a very rare occurrence, it led them to these 2015 Star of Bethlehem, and you missed it. Over 2,600 years, the same sign that the Magi saw that birthed the king. There's 2 kings and there's 2 crowns. My love, Shiloh, not the one that's in the abyss turned upside down. You must be as esteemed as the potter's clay. You must turn their works upside down, brothers and sisters. 2 kings, 2 crowns. He said, Revelation 3:11, I come quickly, let no one take your crown. Crown is the age in the air. In that age, the bride and the bridegroom will be met in the sky. That's your inheritance. That's your prize. When they understand what it is that he's telling you. To meet him in the sky does not mean over your head, as heaven is not over your head and God is not over your head. They know these celestial markers, brothers and sisters. They don't like that what I just told you. Most of you, maybe many of you, I don't know, because there's not a bunch of you, but it's very hard to understand. This is how this created a brand new age from fire to water. We have left that age of deception and we went into the age of air. That's been gaslighting you over and over with their air rituals. They're preparing this celestial sky above you, not the heavens. That's they. The heavens are preparing the sky. They declare the glory of God. The firmament is above your head. And these celestial firmament markers in Matthew, stars, sun, and moon, are for times and season, it says in Genesis. Notice no planets, but when this star here, again, in 1939, conjuncted 3 times in Aries, it obviously led them to the time of 1948 to create the nation of Israel as the last generation, as it speaks in this book. Israel, which is not some physical place anymore on this rock, but a spiritual Israel, and all 180 of these separate countries on all continents, on all flesh, man and woman, Jew and Gentile, not some place out in the desert. That's Old Testament. I rebuke your teaching. You're a fake Jew is what you are. We were warned about people like you. Even in 1948, this was a spiritual 2,600 years ago Jews. Anti-Semitism is like all lives matter. All lives don't matter. Pedo lives don't matter. Don't sup with vipers. Don't cast your pearls before swine. That just went to the Democratic National Convention anyway. So you put your funding into that, Antifa and BLM. Get out of here. So all flesh, one race, the human race. I don't want to hear this. I don't see color. I'm a veteran. I'm not going to care when somebody's trying to blow my head off that I'm going to worried about how much, melon this man has in his skin and how what the shape of his eyes. But I definitely care if it's a woman, because man, I'm going to think about her foxhole if they put a foxy lady in me. The foxhole, I won't think about war anymore, will I? All gone, the Ukrainian generation. Who's that guy that came in yesterday? Boy, we crushed him, with his $500,000. That's 38% tax. That's $198,000 you paid to kill Ukrainian. He's a mass murderer, just like the president in chief. Well, in this case, the Republican, because he's in control of all the militaries, even the National Guard. See, maybe if you bring it back home, he's a build a wall. Never did build a wall, did he? He's not talking about a wall. You can see he's talking about Walmart. That age is over. Get in your Walmart camp. Just say Walmart. $5 General. We got to add those to the camp list. It might be in there somewhere. Hold on. Might find the $5 General. I wonder. Oh, in the age of wonder. So, okay, anyways, let's bring this back to full conversation. We was having a little too much fun there. Hey, whatever is so beautiful to understand these celestial. If they did not form that nation in 1948, it would not have aligned with these celestial markers of the star. Remember the crossing, this 2 star upon a star that happened that, made this conjunction, which was known as the Star of David. David declared him the Lamb of God, which makes Father the Ram, the one with the. See, that's why they love their horns, brothers and sisters, because remember, Father is. I don't want to go into Enoch. I don't want to go into these other books, but this is very clear who they make who Father is. And this is why they go after their horn god and try to duplicate and replicate this goat, not a sheep. So they ram, they're a goat. They could never have, obviously, the shofar that is blown, that final trump. That's not, they're just mimicking, and they love playing with you. The thing that I really wish more people would focus on is the breast. Guys are so breast focused. It's all they can think about. Well, Satan has breast. Why are you going after that one? No, I love Jesus. I know, I can tell. You celebrate, you do their birthday, you do give your bribes, and you do your celebration, right? You tell lies to yourself. You're a demon. You're a double demon. You double down, and you tell that child that you ate the cookies and you gave him the gifts, and that's demonic. You're a liar and a distributor of fortunes. You made and you ate the cookies. You told the child that he ate Santa. Hey ho, hey ho. You want to know where the hoe's at? Ask Santa. He knows where the hoes are at, right? Jingle balls. It tells us in Revelation, right, about these times of these, deception and this falling away from the word. Here we are. The time of seasons, they're changing. They're all done on this Yule wheel worship of this calendar god, of the birth god. Dude, there's no one that's supposed to celebrate birth at all. The reason why they love their birth, that's your baby in the manger, Jesus. Whether you understand what this is all about, what they've ever done to you, is played with your religious. They're religious. This is what religions do to people. They don't define or go back and look at scriptural history. There's no baby manger ever seen that it occurred. That's the birth of Satan, the sun god, after their orgy of the marinating of pagan eat their flesh. No, they're Satanists. They're religious. Only Satanists eat and perform the ritual of eating the masse and meat of men, of masse men, is the eating of human flesh. MSSE, Lopani and Lopanev. You don't smash it all together. Ain't fooling me. That's Christ Mass. They eat my body, drink my blood. Their little Sex Pistol ritual. They're, remember the Borgias? The Pope was a homosexual, and that image of Christ is his gay lover. I mean, how easy. That's not even hard to undecode in this day and age. But oh no, I'm going to go on the hub, and I'm going to go over here to MySpace. Oh wait, they don't have MySpace anymore. Get out of my space. They fall for all this space farce and space balls. And while again, our magnetosphere has been depleted for how long? Since the 1800s, and it just keeps getting weaker, and they keep having more of these low latitude crushing in 2023. They know exactly where this is headed. It's all about the degradation of obviously these people with their wonders, because of the wonderful things he does. He can't do wrong. They can never lose. All I do is win, win, win. You know who I'm talking about. This far right people snatched up all these patriots and all this nonsense. All these Americans is what they are. Thumpers. I don't care if they go with Bidenstein or they're two wings to the same dragon. This guy put in the snake bite, and then he brought in and cleanup. Hey, play poker. Come on, play the game still, so that my buddies, we put lightsabers in our eye holes, mister. I'll put the bite in. Okay, ready, go. And they play this on you guys. Oh, let's put Falsey, the #1 paid government official, in front of everybody. He did the immunodeficiency syndrome. Remember, we're all going to die. Remember Richard? Oh, no, it wasn't Richard Pryor. It was Eddie Murphy. He did that whole thing, about, boy, that was a whole different time, wasn't it? They had everybody afraid of a virus back then. Autoimmune deficiency syndrome. Well, let's not give any actual medical advice, but cannabis would help that. Why do you think that? To give the patients that got the immunity deficiency? Cannabinoids? Gee, I wonder. In the age of wonders. There we go. So, they're going to toy with these people. We'll try to stay focused. But this is a grid down scenario that they're talking about here too, brothers, sisters. I've given me a little bit more understanding too. Again, I know that, they've taken so many steps, Jade Helm, I can go on and on. They've been preparing, there's no such, what does Canadian Prepper say up there? He says there's no such thing as World War III, or military exercises. There's only World War III disguises. Nate, Canadian Prepper. This is a preparedness event broadcast we're doing here, sowing seeds of preparedness. He said, be girded in my service loins, have extra oil, right? That's preparedness, right? Be burning bright, but have your lamps trimmed, because nobody knows the day or the hour. See, that's that. You got a backup plan. You can just use up all your stores. You got, a way to be mobile. if you can. Mobility, don't sit there like a duck in a pond. If I can tell you anything, Lion was in here since we're speaking on this same subject. Canadian Preparedness, Canadian Prepper, #1 channel to go see Jace Medical. I'm really concerned the day that the grid goes down that people will not have the medicinal things that are needed during the times, like such things as inhalers. Some things not, I don't mean all about drug. People need things because of some issues, obviously, probably what some are hereditary, some what they ate, mostly what they ate and diet. But moving on, very hard to get access to such things like insulin and these such things as inhalers. They don't want to give people many extras, and it's very hard when these things go down. When these people don't have these things, man, their whole life is going to imagine that. Try to think about somebody's insulin dependent, or please use the sources. What does Canadian Prepper say? 1 day today. Help me out here, Lion, on this one. I'm sure because you watch the channel, and he's from, he's my brother up to the north, Canadian brother. We've got many that come from up north. We're all one here, pretty much. Some of us know that. Nate says that quite often. What does he say? How many days? He says one. Preparing 1 day now would be like 100 days when the lights go out or something like that. In his scenario, I know he's got that gamed out. He wouldn't say that, and I feel like he's spot on when he says that. And I think it's about 100 days. So you could prepare today, and what would take you 1 day to do today would take you, what I believe Nate's saying, is 100 days. That you better get it done now, soldier. You better move out and don't do anything in a hurry, because you're going to miss one small thing, and that could be the deal breaker. One leave little cog, little. I try to been a veteran, and been hard when you serve for it, been part of a team. You got recognition of something, and we're all part of the team here. Even that smallest little cog, that little pin, if that falls out, the whole thing's going to come apart on us. So the Lee, maybe you're not up there, the big handlebars or the shiny, but or whatever, the tablet, or just as important down there as that comes out. So all we are part of this team. That's right. About who also says 1 is none, 2 is 1 is none. Yeah, so 1 is none, because when you use that, you don't have a backup. So 2 is 1, and 3 is a backup. 1 is none, 2 is 1, because you have an extra, and 3 is a backup. When you use that, see, that's how that works in preparedness. When you can. It's not hard for people to just get one thing sometimes, but if you want to truly understand preparedness, hey, it's better to be 5 years too early than 5 seconds too late, right? You want to be on the other side of the door like Noah? He said, be prepared, be wise, have your lamps trimmed, girded in my service, be ready. What side of the door on you right now? Are you building the ship? Or has Christ already built that? You're just the ark, and he's steering you. He said, that vessel, brothers and sisters, correct? The lamp, the eye, be single. Remember, the eye is the lamp of the body. Dark, workers of darkness, the whole vessel is filled with darkness, or light, the whole vessel. Come on. It's a reference to what we are to be, a reference of like a light in the harbor, a dark place for others, so they lose their way, their instrumentation. You can just be, an example of light to others, and they can find their way in this dark, dark place we live in. So, hallelujah, you're not bringing anybody to God or anything like that. You're just supposed to share that light and put it at the top of your house. See, it'll work just like a light in a harbor. Isn't that a beautiful thing? It is. It's a little bit of a parable, but it is part of the gospel, obviously, that he gives us to be an example. And he gave us many examples through all the apostles. He himself, his suffering, said we must be crucified. Well, he said, carry your cross in Matthew and Luke. So that's a crucifixion. And they crucified him for standing up to their perverted corporation of the time, or their big boy club, as I like Brother Jim says, they're, the big boy club, where they taxed everybody in their halakha for their crops. There was no more gleaning. There was no more, if it fell off the back of the cart, it was not left for the poor. They figured out a way to get it all. Kind of like American right now. Feels exactly the same. It does. This is feeling quite Romanesque, isn't it? Is that a word? Did we just make something up? No, we didn't. That's been said before. Romanesque. That was good. I don't think that's come out of my face pie hole before. I better be going around and telling anybody, these are the synagogues of Satan. Does that sound like your Sex Pistol Cracker Jesus? You do the works of your father, the demonion. Yes, the devil. We're getting a little AM friendly here. Don't you be mourning in here, Ryan. Damn it. Take that out of your dialectus. I don't want to hear that foreign alien dialect in here anymore. I'm blind to you. No, just kidding. Brother, thanks for coming in. Just remember, that's a hard thing to get out of our pie face hole. This lips want to constantly mourn. Don't mourn. Don't worry. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we gave Jeff the moderator wrench yesterday, did we not, Jeff? Thank you for picking that up. If you don't want it, you can hand it back now, but I think you do a fine job. Get out of here, Tim Evans. Is that like a barbecue place? I already slept. Remember, you guys sleep too much. Nobody ever was afraid of the dark, Tim. You're an idiot. They used to plant by the dark, fish by the dark, navigate by the dark. It was the desert. Get out of here, child. Sleep. He said the enemy came and sowed seeds while you were sleeping. You go back to sleep, you idiot. I already got my sleep, this, rest. I don't sleep. Nobody was ever afraid of the dark because nobody slept for 8 hours. Go do your clock walk, go do your thing, and then you can get up and go do your slave labor for this corporation. You're a corp. You're dead to me. So you can't serve two masters. Jimmy Crack Corn. And I don't care. All right. He said, be not anxious, brothers, sisters. So that's where we find our rest. Thank you. Oh, I see thou there, Brother Ross. Just thank you for sending Brother Ross. Thank you for Jim Brown for refining Brother Ross. I'm sure he did many of these studies by him, but what an unlearning and relearning to have that beautiful understanding that our suffering and our rest is in crucifixion. Back to the lesson. But anyways, moving on. Let's go to this week in Magnetosphere. Let's talk about this elephant in the room. Let's talk about preparedness. Let's continue to have this because we're supposed to be wise and girded in his service, meaning we're supposed to be his girded, and that means do what I did. Conform to my image, follow after me, girded in my service. This is all part. Have your lamps trimmed. Nobody knows the day or the hour, brothers and sisters. You could have died 100, 1,000 years ago, and the day that is great for Holy Gods, those that hear the harper's harp, the elect, those that did not have their names blotted out, the ones that were not fooled by self, that finally that number it doesn't matter by number. The whole 144,000 is a beautiful, beautiful lesson for you to open up your eyes. He didn't say Jews. He said Jews and Gentiles, so not 1201 from the tribe of Judah and 1201 from Jeremiah, because we didn't succumb under Baphomet worship, the upside down Katy Perry logo thing, the presidents. No, we're special. So, Ham, you got to have 11,999. And no, he said 12,000 from the 12 tribes of Judah, fulfilling this covenant of all 144,000 of all flesh and of the times of the old. But under this New Testament is 12 times 12,000, which is 144, proving that Jew, Gentile, man, woman, one white, one black, one brown, one red, one yellow, all loving God, but he does not love everybody. All flesh would be fulfilled under this covenant. The 144,000, the harp, the elect, that was chosen from the foundation of the world. See? 144,000. I love the blessing that Father's given this ministry to teach that to you now, fulfilling the covenant of Jew and Gentile. So take that, you fake Israelites over there in the middle of the desert. I rebuke you. That's a genociding nation. That nation should be put on war crime trials. And Mr. Thumpstain, I'm going to bring you back under the 7 Noahide laws and rip Christ right down from the tree, bring you back under the physical law of flesh. Ha ha! That's what's going on. You don't think it's going to happen? It's going to happen in the encampment of the saints. Welcome to your Walmart, your $5 general camps. Thank you, whoever that was lying, was it not? Your millimeter camps. So let's focus on this day and event, because remember back in the 1800s, this magnetosphere in 1859 started the degradation or the migration. It was the degradation, like to negation, the weakening of these magnetic protection canopy. Remember in Ephesians 6:11, he tells us put on the whole armor of God. Gee, I wonder what's going to protect you in this day. The word is the only thing that's going to give you protection. The only thing that's going to give you rest. The only thing that's going to give you suffering. It's going to give you sleep. It's going to feel all things in the word. Stay in the word, brothers and sisters. Be not of this world. This is what's going to happen to this degradation of this nation. I told you I covered this in more detail than any other platform, any other channel, and Father gave me an abundance. These people go to sleep. Whatever. Father's got this covered. I have nothing to do but following his commandments. I know I have a feet above me about some dollar thing, but I don't care about money right now. This is more important. Preparedness is part of this. Remember, he is still preparing, has not done preparing that place where his Father's house is at, inside of you. Christ in me and Christ in you, my brothers and sisters, my mother. There could be some of you in here that are not my brother and sisters, so you know. So I know people, oh, you get say, don't call me brother. This is just a leading of the word for it to hear of the bird. This is the messenger giving you this gospel, what he wrote on my heart. I'm not Brother Jim Brown. I'm not a walking concordance. I can't tell you where every verse is at and where it's at in scripture. I'm not as well versed as Brother Ross in many of the scriptures. It's okay. I am who Father made me, and I'd like to just stick to the gospel. I want to make sure that people know we're supposed to be standing up to the halakha, the God of this modern corporation. I still study daily. I'm still learning these things. I still sup with this word daily. And so this is why I do these things too. It helps bring me closer to him, closer to my brothers, my mother, my instruction. I'm supposed to be instructed in Timothy, refined. You know, we're supposed to go back and reprove this word with each other, make sure we're taking and sticking to the hados and not going off on these other books again, which I love so much about Brother Jim's ministry. And hopefully here it rings through as well, that we don't talk about these other things. So could just numb your mind with Enoch and which Enoch and which author. That's out for a Magi. I just want to talk about it all the time and try to tell you, hey, no, whatever. You don't need to know that. There's no gospel in Enoch. There's no gospel in Jasher. There's no gospel in Jasher or no Lilith. All these other books were not canonized for a reason. And Father did this. Father created this alignment. You know, that's why some people want to take Paul's writings out of the, scripture, because they have issues that he was a slaughtering mass murder of Christians and he wasn't the 13th apostle and all that. He wasn't an apostle. Get out of here. You've fallen for all here. You're going to start doing these things of this modern traditions, ripping somebody off this, tree that I love so much to fulfill this covenant and try to put me back under these laws of flesh. So it'll be done again and again and again. They're going to do this over. And that's the deception, is these eyes of yours, these two witnesses that he said he would send, these thieves that will steal your, as he hung next to two thieves. Okay, remember, he fulfilled all these things on purpose, if with cause and not by chance. These were all a fulfillment of the prophecies, of the fulfillment of the physical rituals, a fulfillment of the celebrations, a fulfillment of the old covenant to fulfill all these laws of flesh. I got somebody coming for this propane tank, so give me a second, guys. Let me see if this is this person. Running around. We'll try one more time. Okay, hold on one second here. I don't know if this is person come for the tank. I'm not. Okay, brothers, sisters, this out and they can't find this place. It always happens out here. That's why I have this hole out there that the cops obviously ran over and have resurrected it and raised it up even higher, further off the road, so they can't run it over. They have to literally like lasso it and pull it over this time instead of running it over with their police vehicles. So I'm not sure if anybody's left in here, but I'll probably have to answer this phone call because I gave my phone number. They're obviously lost, and so it's just the way it is. People come out here, they listen to their Google Maps instead of following the directions that I give them. But that's why I have that pole out there. So if they call, I'll have to take a pause here again, and I may just jump off here for a minute, and I'll come back here a little bit. We'll continue. Maybe I'll just restream this as the same kind of part two, and we'll continue the conversation. But I do need to help them get this tank. They're going to have to do it on their own, because it's a very heavy propane tank, and I hope they have some kind of way to lift it, because I told them I've made it clear in the thing I don't have a tractor out here, and like I did at one time, actually didn't even load it. So if they have a winch, they should be able to, I got probably enough things that supports or boards or something, we can probably tug it up onto a trailer. I'll have to see what they got when they get here. So Hopefully they didn't come ill prepared because they're all antsy and, oh, we'll just leave. See you, bye. Sit there and put me on no damn time clock. I gave very clear directions. People just don't listen. So not my fault. I won't do business with stupidity. Seriously, I turn away so many things. I don't want to deal with people who can't read simple freaking directions, man. I know people make mistakes. That's why I put that poll out there, but that's why there's a poll with 100, marker poles with an arrow pointing in this direction so that when you don't listen to your Google, when you get here and it makes you want to go that way, and I know exactly what they did, or have them bring them some other way. I told them they don't put this in. You have to put it in the way I've told these people. They don't listen, to me. And if they'll do it, and I've done it in these apps, it brings you right to this driveway where you'll see in the marker pole. I've had people come here do the same thing from all these platforms. Yep. And go right here and have any problems. But some people get, because they get anxious and come from a couple hours away and then turn the wrong direction when it tells them to go that way, when there's a huge pole now with 100 markers, like, I don't know, probably 10, 15, 12 feet in the air, and they just don't watch. They get antsy and then they get all anxious because it runs around in circles. So, I'm going in circles out here. I'm ready to go. Okay, bye. So I don't want to come over here and deal with them all rushed. I'll just tell them when they get here, hey, you can leave. If you want to try to rush me, I don't do anything. This is a farm, man. I don't do anything on a clock stopwatch, so anyways, it is what it is. James, call me post about 8647. Interesting. 8647. Pretty interesting. Didn't hear that, Ryan. So I don't know if this person here. Let me see and check and see. Give me 1 second. Let me see if they've seen this or not. All right, we get this thing come over here. This gentleman showing up to get this tank, and I just one of these things I didn't want to sell, but I need to sell it. It's I need to come up with these thousands of dollars again. So I've been trying to any of this and do some other things here, and so I got to make this happen. A large propane 500-gallon, and I think this guy's definitely gonna need some help. He brought a winch. He doesn't have, it's all right. It's gonna take a minute to get it on there. Not gonna be an easy task. I'm gonna meet him out there at the driveway. So I'll come back on here later-ish, and we'll do a take 2 of this, what if grid down, this magnetosphere weakening, this age of wonders. This is all part of this plan of their, future when the skies go dark and they get to play their light show with everybody. And I'm sure they have quite the show planned, and they'll, perform all their wonders in the sky. Then you'll wonder why you followed the yellow brick road in your straw man. And that's it. You can only go to one camp, or band camp or ball camp. Remember, we already made this clear where they're headed with this. So stay in the word, brothers and sisters. The creator of all things, he created with us the word. So love you. Links are in the description. If you want to support the ministry, thumbs this video live stream up and leave a comment after the video if you could. Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.